finally, the newest design we have. Recently bought a pair of Sennheiser brand wireless microphones. The blue dot and the green dot are currently both this type of unit here, where the body pack is a little more compact, and when you squeeze the two little side buttons here, opens up, and as you can see, it takes two AA's rather than the 9 volts like everything else. Now, the biggest reason why we open this up is because the power button, the on-off button, is actually hidden here underneath the door. There's an advantage and a disadvantage to that. One is it's a little bit harder to accidentally bump. The disadvantage is it's a little harder to find. Once you do have it on, though, it should be fairly obvious. The screen should be lighting up. It should give you the battery indication right there, and it should actually give you the name of the unit right there in the middle of the screen, which obviously should line up with the dot itself and the label. Now, once you have the door closed, the only switch you really have to worry about is the mute switch here on the top. That's fairly straightforward. One thing that's really nice about these guys, the screen itself, when it's showing all this information, whether it be the name, whether it be the battery level, whether it's muted or not, shows that right on the screen. The wonderful thing about these that the other wireless microphones don't do is all this information is transmitted up to the base station receiver. It's probably an obvious statement, but I'll clarify anyway. Each one of these wireless transmitters I've shown, each pairs up with a specific base station receiver. So the base station receiver has, a pair of antenna, and it has a cable coming out and goes into the mixer board. Well, there's one specifically just for this green dot unit. There's one specifically for the blue dot wireless. There's one specifically for the Audio-Technica purple. There's one over here. And then for each one of the yellow and the red, the handheld and the clip-on body pack, Telec brands one, each one of those has its own receiver underneath the desk at this point in time. So for each one of those receivers, you have one wireless microphone. You have one cable going from the receiver to the board, and then you do your standard audio adjustments as needed. Now, this is, because it's the green dot, it's the one with this wraparound headset. This is really nice for getting a nice consistent sound off of someone, because you can always have it a consistent distance from the person's mouth. The problem with this one is that it's if it's too close, it's very, very easy to get breathing noises. So you want to have someone test and let them breathe with their nose, breathe with their mouth. Just make sure you're not getting a lot of puff noises and heavy breathing pee noises right into the microphone itself. One thing I should share is once you have one of these units on, in order to turn it back off again, you have to pop the door open, and what you need to do is hold the button down and hold it down until it says the word off there on that screen. If you just tap it once, it will it'll go into an RF menu, and that's not something we need to regularly be going into.